When 82-year-old Harold Whitmore walked into Whitlock National Bank, nobody noticed. His flannel shirt was worn thin, his boots muddy, his hands calloused from decades of labor. He moved slowly, leaning on a cane carved with initials no one could read anymore. He smiled at the receptionist and quietly asked to speak with the manager. The receptionist didn't smile back. She glanced at his clothes and sighed. "Take a seat. She's busy." 40 minutes passed. Harold waited without complaint, tapping his fingers on the armrest, not impatient, but rhythmic, like a habit formed over years. At one point, his old flip phone buzzed in his pocket, and he ignored it. The manager, Vanessa Clark, finally approached, but only far enough to look at him from across the lobby. Young, ambitious, expensive perfume and sharper eyes. She frowned, leaned to her assistant, and whispered loud enough for him to hear. Not another one of these old loan renegotiation cases. They always want sympathy. Harold didn't react. He kept waiting. After nearly 2 hours, Vanessa finally motioned him to her office, without standing or greeting him. "So," she said, folding her hands, "what do you need? A payment extension? A loan request? A waiver? You should have called first." Harold simply placed a sealed envelope on her desk. Her eyes narrowed. "What's this?" "My attorney said you'd recognize it." She opened the envelope, and the color drained from her face. Inside was a legal notice transferring full ownership of Whitlock National Bank, all branches, assets, and holdings, to Harold Whitmore. Signed, final, irreversible. Vanessa laughed at first, assuming it was a joke, until she saw the board signatures. The bank wasn't just being sold. It had already been sold. And not just to anyone, to the man she left waiting in a lobby chair like he was invisible. Who are you?" she whispered. Harold lifted his gaze slowly. "My family founded this bank before you were born," he said calmly. "My father built it. My grandfather funded it. But my daughter, your former branch manager, believed in treating people with dignity." Vanessa swallowed hard. The room felt smaller, silent, hostile. Harold's voice lowered. "You fired her. Publicly. Humiliated her. Claimed she wasn't professional enough because she showed kindness." Vanessa's breathing changed. "You destroyed her reputation," Harold continued. 2 months later, she ended her life. Vanessa's lip trembled. She never expected consequences. Harold stood, cane shaking slightly, not from weakness, but emotion held too long. "The board reviewed her case," he said, "and they agreed with me." Her voice cracked. "What happens now?" He stared at her, calm, steady, merciless. "You're terminated." But before he walked out, he paused. "There's one thing I still don't understand." Vanessa slowly looked up, eyes red, terrified. He leaned in. "Who put the forged disciplinary file in her record, you or someone above you?" Vanessa didn't answer. Because someone else was watching from the hallway. Someone the cameras didn't catch walking in. Someone smiling. As Harold stepped out, the hallway lights flickered, and a deep voice spoke from behind them. It wasn't her. Vanessa froze. Harold turned. The man in the hall wasn't a banker. He was a detective, holding another sealed file, marked "Official, reopened case, suspicious death." The hallway felt colder after the detective spoke. Vanessa pressed her back against the wall, eyes wide and wet. Harold gripped his cane tighter. Not because he was afraid, but because he already knew his suspicion was about to be confirmed. Detective Rowan Hale stepped forward, his tone calm, almost gentle. "Mr. Whitmore, before we go any further, you should know the timing of your daughter's death wasn't random. It happened 48 hours after she reported internal fraud to corporate." Harold's jaw clenched. "She filed a whistleblower complaint." The detective nodded. "And someone intercepted it." Vanessa's breath shook. I never saw any file like that. I swear, I thought the disciplinary report was real. I believed everything they told me." Harold turned his head slowly toward her. "Then who gave you the order to fire her?" She swallowed. "The regional director, Mark Hargrove. He said she violated protocol. He said she cost the bank money." Detective Hale's expression hardened. "That man disappeared 3 days ago. Harold frowned. Disappeared? His house was cleared out. Cars gone. Phones turned off. No forwarding address. But his financial accounts untouched. Meaning, Harold muttered, he's not running. He's hiding, Hale corrected. Before anyone could respond, the lobby doors opened. 3 board members walked in, suits, polished shoes, and expressions carved from cold stone. They didn't look shocked or confused. They looked prepared. One of them, a tall woman with ice-gray eyes, stepped forward. "Mr. Whitmore," she said calmly, "a private meeting is scheduled for you upstairs." Harold studied her. She wasn't nervous. She wasn't surprised. She knew this moment was coming. "Detective Hale may attend," she added, glancing at him briefly, "though we advise caution. The information you're looking for may not be easy to hear." That phrasing bothered Harold. May not be easy to hear. Not shocking. Not unexpected. Like she assumed he already suspected the truth. They entered the executive boardroom. Curtains shut. Door locked. The silence was thick, like something alive. The gray-eyed woman placed a folder on the table. Harold stared at her. "Say it." She exhaled slowly. "Your daughter didn't uncover fraud." The detective stiffened, not expecting that. Harold's voice dropped. Then what was she trying to expose? The woman slid the folder toward him. He opened it, and the air left his lungs. Inside wasn't financial records. It was adoption paperwork, fake identities, hidden accounts, photographs of Harold, of his daughter, of a baby he didn't recognize. Vanessa covered her mouth. Detective Hale leaned forward, stunned. "What is this?" The woman folded her hands. "The truth. Your daughter discovered that the woman she thought was her birth mother wasn't. She learned she was adopted through a private banking transaction arranged by this institution decades ago. And she learned who orchestrated it." Harold's heart pounded. "Who?" The woman's eyes met his, steady and cold. "You." Harold froze. The room shifted. His cane trembled. Detective Hale looked at him sharply. "You knew she wasn't biologically yours." Harold shut his eyes. A memory surfaced, one he spent years burying. Late-night signatures. A crying infant. A desperate woman saying, "Please, just give her a life better than mine." The gray-eyed woman continued. "She wasn't investigating fraud. She was investigating you." Vanessa whispered, horrified. "So you didn't come here for control of the bank. You came to silence someone." Harold slowly lifted his head. His expression was no longer grieving. It was expressionless, measured, cold. "I came," he said quietly, "to finish what she couldn't." Detective Hale tensed. "What does that mean?" Harold looked at the board members. They didn't blink. They were waiting, like they'd rehearsed this moment. Then Harold gave the answer no one expected. She wasn't the only child taken. Detective Hale froze. "How many?" Harold's voice was steady. "Hundreds." The lights flickered again. The boardroom door handle clicked, not from inside. Someone was unlocking it. Detective Hale reached for his badge, but Harold stopped him. "Whatever happens next," Harold whispered, "you need to understand one thing." The door opened slowly, revealing a figure no one expected. Harold's voice finished the sentence. "I'm not the villain in this story. I'm the one who survived it." The figure stepped forward. A woman, young, alive, eyes identical to Harold's daughter. And she spoke one sentence. "Dad, they lied to you." Harold stared at the young woman in the doorway. Same height, same jawline, same eyes as the daughter he buried. But alive, breathing, watching him. Vanessa staggered back, whispering, "No, that's not possible. We saw the autopsy report." The woman cut her off. "You saw what they wanted you to see." Detective Hale's voice cracked like a gunshot. "What's your name?" Her gaze never left Harold. "My name is Emily Whitmore, and I'm the real one." The board didn't move. Not one muscle. Like they'd expected this moment, just not so soon. Harold steadied himself on his cane, forcing air into his lungs. "If you're Emily," he said quietly, "then who did I bury?" Emily swallowed. A replacement. Someone they stole. Someone they needed gone so no one would look deeper. Detective Hale stepped forward, voice sharp. Why you? Why take you? Emily pointed to the folder still open in front of Harold. Those documents, adoptions, payments, sealed identities. You already know why, she whispered. Because we weren't adopted. The detective froze. Harold froze. She continued, voice trembling but fierce. We were bred. Silence shattered every oxygen molecule in the room. Harold felt his stomach drop as puzzle pieces finally clicked. Papers he signed, meetings he never questioned, men in tailored suits who called children assets, not families. Vanessa covered her face, tears spilling. Detective Hale whispered, this wasn't fraud. This was genetic trafficking. Emily nodded, and the bank funded it. The gray-eyed board member finally spoke, calm, composed, like this was confession of horror. You were designed for leadership, intelligence, compliance, the next generation of controlled influence. Emily shot her a cold stare. You failed. Harold reached out, hesitant at first, then steadier. Emily, why come now? She looked directly into his eyes, and for the first time since she appeared, her voice softened. Because you weren't supposed to remember me. Harold blinked. Remember? She nodded. They erased your memory. Twice. Detective Hale's head lifted sharply. Then how did he break through it? Emily's answer was simple and chilling. Grief. Harold's throat tightened. A scar he never understood finally burned with meaning. Emily stepped closer. There are more like me, still inside the system, still controlled. And the people running this aren't just board members. She looked at Hale. They sit in governments, hospitals, courts. Detective Hale steadied himself. What do you want from Harold? Emily took his hand, for the same reason they fear him. Harold's heartbeat thundered. And what's that? He whispered. Emily's voice barely trembled. You weren't just part of their experiment. A pause, sharp, electric. You were the one who designed it. Vanessa gasped. Detective Hale cursed under his breath. Harold dropped his cane. It hit the marble with a sound that echoed like truth finally surfacing. Emily's eyes stayed locked on his. But you stopped. You destroyed the original records. You tried to shut it down. A beat, and that's why they took me. Harold staggered back, breath shaking, memories rushing in. Papers burning, security alarms, a woman screaming, a baby being carried away. His knees buckled. Emily caught him. Dad, she whispered, you're not here to expose them. Tears at his knuckles. You're here to finish what you started. Detective Hale looked between them. Anger, fear, duty, and disbelief colliding. So what happens now? Emily released Harold, straightened, and turned toward the silent board. The gray-eyed woman finally looked afraid. Emily smiled, small, controlled, terrifying. Now, she said, we stop pretending this was ever about a bank.